Director Steve Cronin. He is 2 months.
Yes.
2 months into the job. I've met and talked with him about sort of overall scope of what we've been doing over the last few years, and wanted to have him come and spend a couple of minutes. If the abatement folks would just bear with us. Steve has a decent drive to get home, so I wanted him just update the committee on some of the things that he is envisioned and sort of assessments and things like that. So Steve, thanks for joining.
Thanks, Bob. As Bob said, I've been on the job for about 2 months now, so I've had a little bit of a chance to kind of delve into some of the details, look at some of the challenges we're facing moving forward. Obviously, the committee and the town has done quite a bit in terms of planning and preparing for the future, both on the water and the sewer side. I think as a department, first off, one of our biggest challenges is still staffing. We currently, with the positions approved last night, have about 7 positions open in water sewer. So we've been actively advertising and refreshing those and going through the hiring and recruitment process. So we've had some good applicants come in recently, so we're hoping that as we go through the process and vet those, we can extend some offers and try to get back to full staff. On the water supply side, obviously the potential well at PEA has been a hot topic. We worked with the trustees at PEA and finally secured a memorandum of understanding for a well siting and a pump test for a potential source over there. So we got that off to DES, and just yesterday received approval from them to proceed with the pump test. So we have some notifications to do to abutters and well owners that we're going to start working on almost immediately. So hopefully within the next month to 2 months, we should be moving along with that plan. Positive developments on the sewer siphons project. We're making good progress over there. We're currently still on schedule to have that completed in June. We're midway through the second ream right now. They're going to evaluate once they get through that whether or not we need to ream the hole again. And then after that, assuming everything proceeds as it should, we'll be getting ready to pull the siphons sometime in the spring. So all good developments there as well. And then obviously, positive developments last night as far as surface water challenges that we face as well. $500,000 was approved for conceptual design for a surface water treatment plant. So we're going to be talking internally about next steps for that and beginning the engineering process there. So, as I mentioned, we have a lot going on, but we're making progress in all those areas right now.
Excellent. Questions?
All good news.
All good news. Seems like, which is rare these days in public works, but Steve's come in, hit the ground running, picked up where Jen left off almost a year and a half ago now. And I think it's a real positive development.
And he said you had a drive. How far away are you?
About 40 minutes. So I live in Litchfield, which is just south of Manchester. But much easier commute than I had in the past, so
it could be Boston.
Yeah, tell me about it.
We were excited because Steve's background is more operations of facilities as opposed to the administrative side, which is fine, but obviously a lot of our issues and challenges in the previous 5 years and the next 5 to 10 years are more operationally oriented. So he's got a good background in treatment and just dealing with what I would call boots on the ground, dealing with problems. So, I'm looking forward to the interaction that we have. It'll be good.
So I just wanted to introduce myself. I appreciate the time. I know you guys have a very busy agenda tonight, so I'll let you get to it. But, I'll be back at a future meeting and we can discuss some of the details of these projects.
That'd be awesome. Appreciate it, Steve.
Very much.
Thank you. So we have 12 abatements to look at this evening, and what I'd like to do is be somewhat fair in the order. We've got, it looks like a half a dozen or so here, and then that would mean another half dozen either. It looks like at least that 5 on Zoom. So I will take the folks here first because the Zoom calls, they can do something else while they're waiting if you would like. But I'm not sure who may have come in first.
It was him. He was first, I was second.
Okay, so why don't we, if
guys
you could
are
just
third.
sort of be
Oh, no, you
fair
guys
like
are
that,
third.
so we'll take you
Yes,
first.
yeah.
So what is your name?
Michael Weand,
And what's the address, please? Because
5 Shady Lane.
Thank you.
Okay. So, all right, so Michael will go 5 Shady Lane. Pull up your data here and. So our information here shows that you had a unknown toilet leak due to someone was watching your house.
I received a letter from the town alerting me of the spike in usage. The town offered to come on site and do an assessment, which was great. They did so and did not find any issues. The gentleman that came over pulled the report from the meter, and after reviewing the usage chart, the conclusion was that it was indicative, at least in volume, of a leaky toilet. At looking at the dates of the day-by-day usage and even hourly usage, which is pretty impressive, I must say, it is exactly in line with my family leaving town for that week. We had someone come over to our house that exact day to do something for us. They then left. They were probably only in the house for an hour or so. And then when we came back a week later, that's when the leak stopped. So the toilet ran for the entire week that we were out of town. I looked at the numbers which the town provided. I think my monthly average usage was between 3,500 gallons and 4,000 gallons, and January was 48,000 gallons, I believe. Well, 24,000 gallons, sorry. And just the math comes out to a leaky toilet, which from what I understand is 200 to 250 gallons a day.
So have you talked to the person who was watching your house? And
They were only there for about an hour. So they must have
But-
used the toilet.
were you able to confirm that they actually used the toilet?
So it's actually a cleaning service. So that would make sense that they would have
Cleaning
flushed the toilet.
Okay.
So I guess when you came home, you used the toilet and it probably reseated itself,
And
right?
the bobber must have fixed itself. Yep.
Yeah, and you haven't been able to find anything wrong with any of your, how many toilets do you have?
2.
With either of your toilets, they all seem to reseat now just fine, and it certainly looks like your usage has gone down.
Yep. And the gentleman that came over and did the assessment had the same conclusion. No issues with the toilets, no leaks anywhere.
All right.
This is sort of out of our normal, leakage situation.
Yeah. Somebody there to monitor it.
I mean, I guess you can't really, you can't manage cleaning service from afar, but that's, have you talked to them about like their insurance and that sort of thing?
I have not. I've talked to them, not to that extent.
The policy is, as many of you may know, is that anything inside the meter is the homeowner's responsibility. That's our policy. Anything outside of it or is explicitly the town's fault is the town's responsibility. We've softened that stance a little bit unofficially to account for accidental situations. A pipe bursts while you're away, or a piece of ice falls and takes out a spigot, which we've got a few of those here tonight. Something like this is a little bit different because it wasn't really accidental. Somebody actually caused it.
Well, it wasn't, I don't think they did it on purpose.
Well, I understand.
Since it's an
I
accident.
understand. I guess from that perspective,
I mean, I
it's
don't
an
think
accident.
they propped open the valve. So, I mean,
Okay,
I would argue that it
That's
is
fair.
accidental.
fair enough. So what, I mean, do you think this is in that 50/50?
I think it's at least 50/50. We've had some like this, similar to this, in the past where it was accidental when they were out of town and we covered at least half of it, and sometimes 80%, especially when they had no, I mean, it's,
I mean, in the past, usually we've done, if it's, again, because the policy states otherwise, we usually say, go with the 50/50 unless there's extenuating circumstances like an elderly person or someone who's clearly infirm. I mean, if you have a predisposition, I mean, I would like to do this as more of the 50/50 just because
okay.
there should have been some management oversight on the cleaning company. If they're going to do that, you would think that this isn't the first time that something like that would have happened.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, they flush it and they leave. They didn't wait for it to turn off. They should have waited for it to turn off.
I guess that's where I'm coming from. Is that it wouldn't be any more than us meeting them halfway.
Right.
It's
Okay, I'll
From
go.
that-
I'll go along with 50%.
I mean, is
Even if
that-
to try to recover something from the cleaning service. That's it. I'll make a motion that we do a 50% abatement on both water and sewer for this request.
And I'll second it.
So what we have done here is, thank you for discussion. We are recommending a 50%. So basically, we're meeting you halfway, even though, again, the policy it states differently because in this case, you weren't home really to manage it or to monitor it. So what that would mean is that half of the overage of what you used, we will give you an abatement for.
Okay.
And that you will, again,
Here's the actual number.
yeah, we've got it.
Oh, it's all right here.
Yeah.
Just add it together.
339.
359. 359.87.
Would be the amount returned.
Yeah.
So 50% of the excess water is $139.27. 50% of the excess sewer is $220.60. So we get, the 359.87.
Okay.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So you'll be getting a notification of that information, and that should be reflected on your next bill.
Is that done through a credit or a refund? The bill was paid.
Usually a credit, since unless you're selling the house, presumably you'll be using water
Yeah.
going forward.
It may take a few quarters for you to get.
It would be a
credit.
It would be a credit. Okay. So that's, you get a 50% abatement on that. Okay,
All
thank
set?
you.
Great. Thank you for your time.
So you were second?
Yeah, Anthony Velotti, I'm at 2 Maryland Ave. I received a letter from the DPW on excessive use. So I called and they told me it's probably ghost flushing, which I never heard of that, but they were real good. They immediately sent a guy out, and I have 3 toilets. And he did a leak test, and 2 of them were leaking. Neither one of us, my wife or myself, are home all day. And I immediately got a hold of plumbers and had everything fixed. And gentleman was out the other day from the DPW, and he on the meter is now 0 leaks.
Okay.
So that's what happened at my house.
When did he come by? Which day? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think it was the 21st.
The 21st?
No, the first.
The first makes
Yeah,
sense. The
yeah.
21st is.
Yeah, no, it was the first. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I don't have that paperwork.
Well, one reason I asked is the data I'm looking at stops on the 28th. and
Oh, they sent another one.
Have I got the updated one?
There's an updated one that has it in
Let me
there.
check.
Yeah.
All right.
I got a copy of it, so I'm assuming you must have.
I probably did. I got a couple of updates. I thought I got all of them downloaded, but maybe I didn't get them.
Yeah, I received a new one this morning, actually.
Oh, there it is. And there is unread. Yeah, you are
To Maryland.
Yeah, I think there was an update, because
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
they made.
Oh, I see what happened. It didn't come through.
Oh, it didn't.
No, I've got the Maryland abatement request updated PDF, but I don't have the file. I have the name of the file, but the file did not get forwarded for whatever reason. That's why I don't have it. Okay, didn't it? Do you have it?
Yeah, it came on an email on,
Yeah, I got the email, but the file, that attachment.
Some reason it didn't.
Oh no, there it is.
yeah.
You sent it. The one you sent did not have the attachment. Okay,
It's the same abatement total though, for estimates, right?
Right.
right. It's just a matter of being able to see when that's actually been fixed for sure.
Yeah.
That's all I was mostly concerned about. And that's probably what the data shows.
So, and I think Desiree, I talked to her, she said that she
There it is.
talked to you. Usually because you only get one abatement every 10 years. And we're sort of hard and fast on that because we sort of softened up the other criteria about inside the meter and all that. So we're working with people, but the 10 years, again, we every time a leak can't be. The first one, we give you a pass, and like the gentleman who was here before, presumably now he'll pay a little bit more attention to his cleaning service or ask them to pay more attention.
Yeah.
And that's all we ask is that
I agree.
we're sort of in
I
partnership.
agree.
This would, I would assume would probably be, again, in that 50% water and sewer, or even if it's 80, it's going to be less than $100 or so for your abatement.
That's all.
Yeah, because that's the excess. We only give you an abatement for the excess used. So what they do is they look back for 4 quarters and average, look at your average usage. So you don't get an abatement on the whole bill because you use the water, you have a baseline usage, presumably of being in the house. And whether you're gone or on,
Right.
that's,
You still use it.
it's still using it's still your responsibility. So we just let you know that.
You're saying, so the most the abatement would be $80? Is that what you're saying?
Well, if it's the 50%, which I think we would make a motion in that, it would be about $65. And if we gave you a total abatement, it would still only be $130.
Well,
So
that's all the extra is?
Yeah.
yeah,
For both the sewer and water?
yeah, it wasn't much.
Oh.
It wasn't as much as you might have
Well,
thought. So
I know.
what I'm
You believe what I
suggesting,
paid?
it's not that much, and so if we just give you the option to let you know that you only get one of these every 10 years, and we've had people with several $100s, if not close to $1,000
Yeah,
in
no,
overage. So I just give you, we can go through the process. And
No,
approve it.
I agree with you 100%.
So
I'd rather save it. I'd rather save it in case I get,
Yep.
a pipe burst or something,
just
and
like to
we're
give
not
you
home
the-
for a week.
like I say, our motion would probably be for a 50% abatement, so it'd be only $65.
I
that we would
know.
get
I will hold off then. I appreciate your time though. I really do.
No, certainly.
And I'm glad you explained it to me.
Yep.
So do we have to do any action as a committee on this? Just table it or?
Yeah, why don't we do that? Well, why don't we just, we'll make a motion to,
You word the motion.
well, actually, I don't, we don't have to leave
Okay.
because he's effectively removing his request.
Withdrawing it.
Withdrawing his request,
Yeah.
so we don't have to.
So we don't have to do anything.
I'll just mention in the minutes that you
I withdrew the
did that.
request.
Okay.
And if you change your mind, feel free to come
Yeah,
back. But
yeah.
like I said, it would be
Yeah.
$65.
I'd rather take it in case there's a worse accident.
Okay,
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
thank you.
Could the Zoom people please mute themselves so we don't have the noise in the background?
You're good, you're good.
Dennis? Thank you. Please mute yourself.
If you guys could mute yourself, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll try to do that, buddy.
Thank you.
So, Connie, were you next, do you think?
Colleen, yeah.
Colleen?
Yep. So we're really here for my mother-in-law's house, 39 Crawford Ave.
Right.
We were supposed to be watching her house, which we were, but we got sick during that time period. You had gone over and flushed a toilet on the day that he did happen to go over. We did not know when he left, it was still running, and it ran. As you well know, you guys, we got a warning. We got a letter that said that there was high usage.
I
And
had actually figured it out before we.
I'm noticing that it got
I would
fixed
shut the
before you
water
got the letter, and you noticed that it got
problem-
fixed before you fixed it too.
Yeah.
The problem
That
was,
the timing of all this looking a lot.
Yeah.
It's because you went in and fixed
right,
it first.
because I go there every day as a
Okay.
rule, but both of us ended up getting sick.
Okay.
And
not one
I
of
was
us.
out of work for 2 weeks and pretty much I was in bed.
Yeah. Okay.
When I did go over, I can tell you what the problem was, is there's a gasket on the flapper. So because my mom isn't there and she's been gone for a month, at that point, it dried. So when I flushed it, it's actually stuck to the ball valve that goes up.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
So it sounded
The
like,
ball valve
it all
called it.
sounded normal, except for that when it landed, it crumpled and it just didn't seat. So water just constantly flowed through.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So I replaced the entire inside of the toilet, just to not take any chances.
And the bill is in your mother-in-law's name?
My mother's name.
Your mother's name,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And
That's quite a lot for her,
Yeah.
1,800 and some odd
Right.
change.
she doesn't even know about it. I'm not even told her
You
that
don't want to hard to
She's with his sister in Florida for the winter month, and now we're like, yeah. So
I'm
we
making
need
a
to sit there and
motion.
worry about
I've
it.
heard enough. I'm making a motion for an 80% abatement on this one. Second that.
I will second that.
We're on Crawford Ave also.
Oh,
Oh, then there's another Crawford ad. It doesn't mean that just supporting her doesn't help. Sorry. Appreciate the neighborhood.
Right.
I used to live in Crawford House.
Oh, did you?
Get some votes on your side. Did you second that?
I did second it. So that will be all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
yes.
Opposed?
And that's where the problem was.
So the 80% of the excess water usage is $178.20. The excess sewer.
I'm looking
Wrong-
at, you're looking at the
wrong-
wrong one. It's a lot more
I
than
meant
that.
the wrong.
39 Crawford, and
Yeah.
your mother's name is Claudette?
Claudette.
Yeah. Okay, just make sure I got the right.
Total's 1,386 and 39 cents.
Yeah.
Right. My bad.
Yeah, I have a little note here. Repair was made before the notice was sent, or it fixed itself. Yeah. I have a little note on myself. This doesn't add up.
right.
And as a secondary precaution, he's turned the toilet water
Water's
off.
It's off until she gets back.
It's all until she gets back.
So we don't even know really for sure it's fixed.
Oh, no, I know it's fixed. Because I worked on it and I sat there and
Well,
watched.
just kind of, yeah. All right. So you turned it on, but then you turned it back.
Right.
After I fixed it. I
You
tested
verified
it.
operation.
We weren't taking any other chances.
That's good.
I almost shut the thing off just because I'm like, it's not gonna freeze. I may just shut the whole thing off at this point. But
Okay, so you'll be getting a notice of, again, probably a credit for 80% abatement of the excess water and sewer usage from the past bill.
Did we vote on that already?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, we did.
Okay, good.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Marissa?
Okay, you guys next?
Yes.
The other problem,
The other, this would be 26, right?
James Olet.
Yes. So we actually live at 12. We purchased the property at 26 Crawford Ave, which is a multi-family, last
June 30.
end of June. It was a bit of disrepair and things hadn't been particularly paid attention to. We got the notice from the
October
town
18.
I'm sorry, when did you say you bought it?
on June 30th.
June.
So we'd only owned it a few months when this happened. On October 18th, we got the notice of the excessive usage. I went up to the place that day. I couldn't figure out what was happening, but what I noticed was in the back corner of the basement, there was water seeping in through the actual foundation. Didn't quite understand it, called my plumber, who came out.
October 20th.
I think it was right October 20th. And what we eventually figured out, so there is a garage at the back of the property, which has running water.
Okay,
And apparently the pipe between the house and the garage had rotted away. And the water was soaking the ground so much that it was literally leaking back in through the foundation, in which, again, we had no way of knowing
Sure.
whatsoever. So that day, we couldn't even shut it off. The shut-off valve was so old, it couldn't turn. So we had to shut the main off, cut the pipe, put in a new shut-off valve, turn it off, and now, at least for the time being, the garage in the back no longer has water. Because the only way to fix it is going to be to have to dig up and figure out where the pipe actually broke.
right.
In the meantime, no toilet usage in the garage.
Okay, so it's fair to say that there was no sewer usage at all?
Correct.
It broke
Correct.
out in the garage and then ran through your foundation?
Correct.
Is there a floor drain in your basement?
There is, yes.
Does that go to the storm drain or the sewer?
No, it goes to the storm drain, I guess is what it would be, yes.
Okay, so not the sewer.
Correct.
So we, at a minimum, would there'd be 100%
Of the sewer.
abatement of the sewer portion of it.
And again, I think we supplied receipts. We had it fixed within 48 hours.
Okay. Any feelings, I mean, to the extent that they didn't really, there's really no way they could have
Yeah.
known that that happened, I would, say this would be an 80% on the water, 100% on the sewer. That's a suggestion. 50 or 80, I guess.
I think it should be 80, but
I mean, that's
I'm
sort of what I was.
100% on the sewer and 80.
Right.
That's what I,
Yeah, I would agree. There was really no way of discerning this.
I'm a little confused in the size of the bill and the size of the abatement. Wait a minute, maybe I looked in the wrong place. Yeah, it
Yeah.
has to be, the excess
I mean,
is not that high.
unfortunately, well, that's probably due to the previous owner's usage, not their usage.
Yeah, that's right. And the baseline was probably.
Right. So unfortunately, the baseline for the usage for that house, that's what you're having to.
Right.
You're paying for all the leakage
Yeah, so that they-
Yeah,
Because we have no idea how long it was
exactly.
minorly leaking.
Yeah.
Obviously, it at some point really let go. and
Yeah.
That was,
I mean, it's going to be,
There's no way to
I'm
get
going
it.
to say around like $178 on the water and $390.16 on the sewer.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be $570. So
We'll take it.
better than nothing.
But, again, the baseline was probably higher
Right.
than just two
Understood.
people.
Yeah.
So there's a motion, well,
I'll move that we do 100% on the sewer and 80% on the excess water, as reported by DPW, which is what you just said. You did the math already, right?
yeah, 178.20 for the water,
Right.
390.16 for the sewer.
Yeah.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. You'll get that credit on your next bill.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good luck, everybody.
Hi, Casey.
So,
In residence?
your address.
My wife Lindsay and I'm like,
What is it again? 203. Got it.
And you're Michael?
Michael and Lindsay?
yeah, my wife Lindsay and I'm like,
Great. Welcome.
thank you.
So it sounds like there was a leaking sink.
Yeah. So we have my mother who's 82. He's up in what was our master bedroom before we put an addition on downstairs to get me on the first floor. And she requires caregiving, so my wife provides that to her. Back in October, my wife had gone up, as she does every day, several times, but she doesn't go into the bathroom. And she went into the bathroom for whatever reason, and she saw that there were towels around the sink perimeter and wet. So she asked my mom, what's going on here?
Pocket plumber.
I mean, yeah, she's like, you need help here? Do we get a leak or something? No, it's just a little leak. I just put paper towels or, linen
Right.
towels across it, and most of it goes into the sink. And so anyway, that almost correlated directly to when my wife got the bill and was reviewing it. And was saying, what the heck is going on here? We're almost, 3 times in excess of what our normal is. And we actually did get a message from the town saying that is an alert of an overusage situation. But that was after the fact, because when my wife saw the towels and that they were soaked and all, she immediately let me know, and we got a plumber in there the next day. And it was an issue, sure enough, with the hot and cold water, and cartridges for both had to be replaced. And that subsequently resolved the issue completely. We were in conference with Desiree, and she confirmed, looked at our water usage over the last 12 months, and with the exception of the summer, because we do have a pool and irrigation that uses water, but everything got brought back into line with what our normal usage was. As soon as she identified it, we immediately hopped on it. Just unfortunately for my wife, she just, like I said, doesn't go into my mom's bathroom. And my mom,
She didn't.
I don't know. I mean, just, like Blake's my mom. She's my mom. I can't get, she doesn't know we're here either. She doesn't know we're here either. I mean, like the other,
The bad news is this isn't the first time that this kind of thing is happening.
Yeah. So,
Understood, and thank you for taking care of your.
yeah, she's got a full-time.
Yeah, 7 years.
It's not easy.
She's got a full-time with me since 2007, and then my mom got added. And so I said to her today, I said, hon, I looked at the letter that you sent in, and it's 2106. She said, huh? I said, yeah. I said, that's okay. You can say that it feels like it's it's been
Yeah,
2106 the last 7 years. But, yeah.
2016.
So I think this will qualify as an 80%.
I agree.
I would make that motion.
We both sincerely appreciate that very much.
So the 80% of the abatement on the excess water is $418.51. The excess, 80% of the excess sewer, $730.47. That'll buy a lot of paper towels.
Yeah, gentlemen, thank you
That's
very
enough.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you very, we do sincerely
That's
appreciate it.
enough of a an amount. It might take a while for them to work that off as a credit. I don't know how they do it, but yeah.
Yeah, they'll figure that out.
Yeah, it's up to the
Yeah,
DPW.
because her usage is fairly low, so you might see a credit for a couple of quarters.
Yeah. No, that's understood. We,
All right.
we appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank
Thanks
you
for coming
your
in.
time.
Thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
where
Are you all set with the door? Can you-
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay, so I'm just going to go left to right here.
Dennis?
Dennis,
Yeah, he unmuted. Good.
Yes.
Dennis Moran, 12 Finney.
Correct.
Okay.
This is the first time I've ever used the Zoom. Kind of adventure.
Yeah, it is.
What's the
It
first time
can
you
be,
did
that's
this?
for sure. Okay, so looks like you had a problem with your spigot in January.
Yeah. Yes, it was after that early storm, but the only major one we had. And that side of the house, when the ice began forming up, and apparently, according to one of my neighbors who detected the gushing water after a period of time, let us know about it. And that spigot was adjacent to a room in a house which is largely unoccupied. So I never heard anything until I was told by my neighbor, and then almost that very next day, the town gave me a notice of excessive usage. So of course we had someone go out and, deal with the spigot, but apparently a large amount of water had been used by that time. It had fallen, an icicle probably had fallen on the nozzle. And I spoke with Desiree, and she informed me of this procedure that we have now.
Right.
So I'd be grateful for any consideration that you could give.
Well, looking at the data, it looks like the incident occurred on the night of the 9th of January and was taken care of by the 12th of January. So you took care of it very quickly. That's good news.
As soon as we heard about it, yes.
Yeah. And there's, well, I'll let you tell me about it.
I don't know if you heard the second person that we talked to. With what our probable abatement would be, is only going to be around $100. Because as Carl said, you fixed it pretty quickly. There wasn't as much water usage as you might think. So you only get one of these every 10 years. So you don't have to necessarily answer now. But if since the abatement's $100 on a bill of a little less than $400, we just want to give you the option, that if maybe something happens down the road, but that's your call, totally your call. But it's not that much money, so that, that would be a consideration.
Oh, well, we lived here for 63 years in this house. We've never had an incident before. And I plan on being around for another 63 years. I'll keep my bonus.
It won't quite be $100 since I believe this would be an 80%.
I would say.
Yeah, full abatement would be 100. You're only going to get about 80 credit if we agree to that.
Oh, whatever your policy is, certainly.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be 100% since it was outside. It'd be 100%.
Oh, 100% of the sewer. That's right. That's right.
So that's 61.74.
Yeah, you're right. It is going to be 90 something. Yeah.
I mean, would we go 50% on the water, or
I go 80% of the water.
Yeah, I mean, it's only $12. 31.17. Yeah, so it'd be about $93 would be your abatement.
That's 93 in total.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we do 100% on the sewer and 80% abatement on the water for this incident.
Okay.
for the $92.91.
I'll second
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I
Okay, Mr. Moran, we've approved an abatement for the $92.91. And you'll see a credit on your next bill.
Now, the bill is already here. Did I go pay that bill now? Or-
And you don't want to incur late charges. So if you already have the bill,
Yeah.
this happened in January, so I don't know what district you're in exactly. So it would probably be worth you paying it, and then you would get a credit on your next bill.
Okay.
But if you need specific clarification, you can call Desiree in the morning,
Oh, that's what I'll do.
because she's the billing person. She'll know exactly what needs to be done.
Very well, sir.
All right, thanks,
Thank
Dennis. Okay, 5 West Side Drive.
Good evening.
well, there.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. So you had another January cold snap incident, it looks like?
Yeah. My husband, we are down in Florida. We have been in Artsdale in Florida. But my daughter and her 2 little girls live in our house at 5 West Side Drive. And my daughter, apparently the hose froze and leaked, and it looks like it was about 8 days before my daughter noticed it. Of course, right after that, we received the letter, but she had already noticed the problem. So we did have him come in and check for all the leaks and so forth and so on, and there were no leaks everywhere, and it was just one of those things, an accident that happens hopefully not too often. It hasn't happened in the last 25 years that we've been here, so
Sure.
we hope it won't happen again.
So, I mean, I think we can probably do something for you. The question I would have is there a reason, do you normally keep the that hose caddy connected up in the winter?
No, it was just a mistake that happened. It was overlooked when we were putting away things in there.
Right. Yeah, I'd be in a hurry to get to Florida in late December, early January as well. So I get that. I appreciate your honesty. It sort of came to me. It's like, why was it still connected in the first place? But
Yeah.
things happen.
Well, I don't know if it was a hose, but it was that plastic, it was a hose on it, that plastic thing was split, plastic, yeah.
Oh, the spigot would have had to have been left on also, right? For it to be.
Right.
Yeah. You had to leave.
The spigot would have been left on, and it went through the hose wrapped around the caddy.
Yeah.
Just between raking leaves and taking down Christmas decorations, you probably had other things to think about, right?
And happy.
So, obviously, no sewer was used.
Right. I would say 50% of the water at most in this situation.
I would agree. I mean, that's generous. That
Okay.
would be generous.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so.
So, a motion for 50% of water, which is 102.89. 100% of sewer, 305.25. Second?
Second. Yeah.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. So your abatement, we've approved 100% on the sewer usage because it didn't obviously go into the sewer. And,
Yeah.
and 50%, we sort of meet you halfway on the water, excess water usage since, yes, it was an accident, but,
We understand.
and that's $102.89. So it'd be a total of about $489 $8 roughly that you'll receive an abatement for.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
All right, enjoy the rest of your stay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Okay, so is somebody calling?
It looks like somebody's trying to call in.
Well, let's do we'll do Mr.
Leatherby? Mr. Leatherby, are you there?
29A Court Street. Mr. Leatherby, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, thank you for this procedure. Thank you for hearing my request. I had a subject property that was under renovation, and when we got the bill, we realized that something was wrong because there were hardly any contractors in the property at that time. We shut the water off. We had Ed come down and take a look, and he found a toilet leaking upstairs. We fixed the toilet, turned the water back on. But we had an overage probably about 8 times what we had the 3 months before, on the order of about 2 times what we averaged over the last scoreboards. And respectfully request an abatement for some of this in accordance with your rules.
So this is the one where the paperwork got put aside or something, because it looks like it happened back in 22.
Yes, thank you for hearing it so late. This actually happened in 2022, and in the renovation, we lost the paperwork, and we found it in the basement. We did all the paperwork at the time, but we didn't get it in time, so thank you for listening to it so late.
Well, like I said, the one good thing coming out of COVID is that we've adopted a more conciliatory attitude towards accidental water and sewer discharges. So a year plus is, not a big deal.
Thank you.
Has because there was no paperwork on so I'm assuming that the leak was fixed, right?
Yeah.
The leak was fixed, yes. Ed came out, he did do paperwork, and I got a copy of it here. I think I sent it along there. Found it was a toilet. I was kind of surprised. I learned a lot when it was there.
Yeah, that thing must have been flowing pretty good.
It just kept going up and up and up.
Yeah, they must have. It would seem like they maybe used it. Once they used it once, they sort of said, "Oh, well, this is," because the usage started off as reasonable, and then it just over the course of a week just started ramping up.
I know.
So, I mean, have you talked to the contractor about that at all?
I didn't at the time, and once we fixed the toilet, we didn't see anything unusual with the water usage after that. I did tell him about it. I told him that, but I didn't really see it as his problem. I saw it as my problem after it was and pointed out that it was a tightening into the tube.
Yeah, I guess.
Very old.
Yeah.
It was part of the reason why we were doing the renovation. Very old equipment.
Yeah.
I see this as a 50-50.
I agree on both. Make a motion for 50% abatement on water and sewer of the 50% abatement of excess water and sewer for 29A Court.
Second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So we've approved basically 50% abatement over the excess usage. So that comes to $96.60 on the water side and $169.32 on the sewer side. Sort of meeting you halfway, even though there were some issues, mostly issues on your side of the meter. So you'll see a credit on your next bill. And I will explain that even though this happened a while ago, that because of unusual circumstances, we allowed the time frame lapse.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for your time.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Aye.
So,
Is there a 603? No, they went away. Okay.
okay, so there's no one else on Zoom. Okay. Just go back.
Let's see, what
No,
times haven't we done?
They're on the screen.
There's somebody there?
Are you there?
What's the number?
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we trying to figure out if you were going to call in or,
We don't have any video.
yeah, we don't have video of you, so,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Can you identify yourself, please?
so what's your address?
26 Haven Lane?
Are you Fred?
Yes.
Okay.
What was the address?
26 Haven Lane. This
Oh,
is
okay, I got it.
Fred
Yeah,
Hannafy.
Fred Hennepy, okay.
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can.
Who's the other?
We're just sort of jotting down some notes. We had to sort of go out of order this evening because we had people in attendance and then Zoom. We're trying to, so we're bouncing around from the lists that we have. So it looks like you had, again, sort of an exterior hose situation. Do you want to?
Yeah, we, been breaking down the patio for the season since early December. When I went to break down the hose caddy, I noticed that a fitting was leaking. I don't know how long it was leaking for. It was like a cast metal loop that was cracked. And so, it wasn't anything I could repair, so I just threw it out. And the following week, I got the high usage notice, and I'm like, oh man, it must have been leaking for quite a while. And it was leaking such that it wasn't noticeable, looking at the caddy. I couldn't see, you couldn't see anything leaking from it. It was kind of like inside the hose reel.
So again, so you had kept the spigot on throughout into the winter?
Yeah, that unfortunately the spigot was left on.
I might suggest even if you repair the caddy that you don't leave the spigot on during the freezing winter. If you know that, right? It could have been much worse, is what I'm trying to say.
We conveyed that to the wife, the standard operating procedure now, you're not using the hose to turn the spigot off.
Yeah, right. Okay.
It's not good enough to just, turn off the nozzle with the hose. Just,
I don't think there's any chance of an
an extra level of protection to keep the spigot off.
100.
Oh, yeah, it is. And under the sewer.
Which unfortunately is the big.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fortunate for him.
you do get one of these every 10 years. So going forward, I would, make your list for winterizing your property to include shutting off the spigot at a minimum.
Yeah.
Just as a recommendation. So I will move a 50% water, 100% sewer
A second.
abatement. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed. So Fred, we've approved an abatement. Since the water did not go in the sewer, you receive a full abatement on the excess sewer usage, which is $574. And we've met you halfway on the water, which is $196.46. So the total will be about $770 roughly for the two. That would be your abatement.
Okay, well, that is much appreciated.
Yep. And again, like I said, you get one of these, so harden up your winterizing list if you would.
Yes, will do.
All right. Thank you very much.
Very much.
I think that is all of the why.
It's all the people that we have on. So now we can go.
Did I double count?
Fred, you're still there. You're welcome to watch if you want, but just want to let you just make sure you're still there.
Oh, yeah. Well, is that all I need to do today? Can I leave now or?
Yes, certainly. Or you can stay.
You're welcome to stay, but just to let you know, you are still live and it's being recorded and all that, you don't have to say, we've made our decision and we'll, you don't have to do anything else. Just be a credit on your bill.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
You bet.
Thanks again.
You bet. So we'll now just go to what's left. So David Baker, 128 Epping Road.
Okay. Oh, this is one I thought we might want to wait on.
Yeah, this is,
Oh, no, wait, this is, never mind. I said that at first. Oh, no, he hadn't got the bill yet for the second part. It looked like his last bill, this was all based on his January bill. And he said he was asking, there's a little sticky note, he was asking about the next bill.
well, that was Desiree's no.
Right.
Because it's supposedly, but I mean.
I think we should wait another meeting so we know we've got it all. He gets whatever.
Well, the last meeting, we sort of set the precedent that one gentleman who it went into 2 quarters, we looked at that as 2 abatement requests. In that case, he didn't he didn't fix it. Maybe we would be.
Well, let's talk about it here.
Yeah,
Right? Let's talk about it.
So it looks like, I think that was. I think it's Shirley's handwriting, actually. I mean, I guess the problem I have is that they tried to.
This is the daughter and son one. This is the daughter.
They tried to troubleshoot it.
Yeah.
And they didn't see it. It's a mobile home. I looked online, and it happened underneath the unit, which I get. That's hard. But if you look at it, but you're still getting the high usage, you should call in a plumber.
Right. Well, yeah.
To me,
what they did, if you read what he says that they had their daughter and son visiting them, and that's why they thought they had the high usage.
Right.
But that's, I agree. I understand. But on the other hand, they still don't know if we're going to do, at most, we're probably going to do 50% of this at most. If we do it 50%, he's not getting the full benefit of the abatement if we do it based on the 1 quarter bill. I mean, the other one that we had gone over.
Seems like it was resolved. I'm not sure next quarter is going to show.
Well, it's the date of the bill is January the 31st. Okay. So the meter reading had to have been back in the middle of the month.
Mid-November all the way up through mid-February.
Right. It's been fixed.
Well,
yes, it went down.
10 days.
Yeah.
It'd be another 9 or 10 days.
Yeah. I don't know. Probably, maybe we're only talking.
Well, and again, the fact that they did have people visiting, that will increase the usage.
Right.
That would sort of quote unquote offset that.
That's a good point. I mean, maybe they're getting excess. Yeah, they're getting excess usage.
Unless there was like some extenuating circumstance, like they just couldn't see this leak. But he didn't. Once they got the notice, they didn't really take any action.
Right. Yeah.
And there was clear. I mean, the Delta bill was. $1,300.
Yeah,
for $1,300, I would look into it a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Okay. I'll make a motion for 50% of this.
Yeah, that's.
I'll second
So
I just made that note to myself that they still don't have all the bill in on this quarter's bill. They're going. It won't be much.
What we said before is that if you get the notice and you don't take action, then that sort of, without trying to be mean about it, that's negligence.
Yeah,
by
I
not
know.
doing that. So I think 50% is more than generous.
Yeah, I agree.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Now, this is under the home.
It's under a mobile home. It's out on Epping Road. It's sort of an outlier. There's some single family homes and commercial.
Before we vote, I just want to point out this didn't go to the sewer. I mean, I'm still thinking.
That's a good point. Well, that's a real good point. Yeah.
On the other hand, there was negligence, so maybe.
But if it didn't go to the sewer, it didn't go to the sewer. So we should bump that up.
Move 100%.
Is that okay? Move a motion and second to change that to 582.
100% on the sewer, 50% on the water. which is more than generous.
It's consistent though.
Yeah,
It is
right.
consistent.
Pretty generous.
Consistent.
Got it. Okay,
Right,
good.
what's next?
So the next one is 78 Epping Road.
Thank you.
This one's an interesting one. This is the Herb and Rob's Auto Repair Shop out on Epping Road. And
It was,
he said, they got a notice and they said there was no leak found, but there was, to reread,
oh yeah, they just,
it doesn't look like they,
we just look at the data, it's like nothing, and
I mean, I don't know, but they never really
never did anything.
they never did anything, and it just sort of magically went away, which leads me to believe that something happened.
Yeah.
And either he didn't know about it, or like somebody was washing their car out back by unauthorized,
Yeah.
or
Well, we're not getting the whole story.
it would appear that way.
I have a little note, magically healed itself. It's my note is it was 2 months.
I mean, unfortunately, it's a fair amount of water.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they literally don't use any water.
Yeah. Did he have a tank that they could have been filling? Is he for washing down and they reuse that? I mean, I don't know. That's just crazy.
The problem is that in this case, the baseline is so low. That,
Yeah, it's all of it.
That the abatement is it's going to take him forever to.
Yeah, he's
Work
never
off the
going to work
credit.
off that abatement and the credit. That's yeah.
It just seems to me that you don't just go from zero usage or little usage to that much, and then have it just go away without something happening. Now,
You're
if
not
he's
getting the
being
whole story.
if he's being honest with us, then maybe he didn't know about it, and that would be an accident.
Yeah.
But
It happened immediately over the holidays, which is a
right.
odd relationship.
My inclination would be to deny this based on the fact that not only was there not a problem with the town system, there was no apparent problem with the user system. And thereby we don't have enough information to assess if it was an accident or otherwise.
Right.
That
I
would
just, we didn't, there's got to be more information than we have.
right. And if he wants to come back and contest it with more information,
I mean, he didn't show up
if he's got, for instance, maybe some cameras out back or whatever. I mean, I don't know if they do.
It's got to be.
But it just seems to me that we're not getting the whole story, because this kind of stuff doesn't magically happen.
Yeah, I mean, unless the meter was wrong. I mean,
But
that has never
It's so rare- it's so rare to be able
We've
to-
had them checked and checked and checked, and they've never found a problem like of this magnitude. So, and it's just so we're looking at this $330 in gallons in November, 450 gallons in December, and 51,990 in January, and now it's gone back to nothing again. I mean.
Well, I will make the motion to deny the abatement request based on a lack of indication of a problem with either the towns or the user system, and thereby there's nothing to quantitatively give an
Yeah,
abatement
we
for.
can't tell if there's an accident or what.
Right. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And the last one is 4 Minuteman Lane.
The last one? Okay.
Yes.
Haven't been deleting them as we've done them.
Good. Keeping track.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So this is again, one of those backyard, people seem to be a little negligent on their backyard spigot management this year.
Well, it's nothing going down the sewer again. It's
So,
in the common area.
100% sewer, 50%.
yeah, it looks like
We've had like 4 of these already.
they turned the, they couldn't see it from their back window. A neighbor, told them, again, it's not a huge amount of money, but since they're not here, we can't make our pitch on the once in 10
Right.
years. So they made the request.
It's not a small amount either. It's
Yeah. So I would say, yeah, I
a couple
think
hundred, 270.
excess water 61, 67, and 100% on sewer 214, 83. Do I hear a motion?
I'll do
Do 50% water.
50% water and 80% sewer on this request.
Second?
Second one.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So now we are a committee of 5.
We are an official committee of 5. I don't know what Alan's going to do. It seems like he's got some health issues. Russ, the way the warrant was structured is that there are 2 select board members now that are, what I suggested to Russ is that we keep the committee the way it is and have the select board person as an alternate. And then Alan said he was going to be here tonight, and I'll just, I'll tell you guys in person, but I'll tell Alan, if you don't think you can make it, then tell me, and we'll get the select person.
That's a good idea.
involved. And if,
That could count as a,
Yeah.
as an
as long as obviously 3 of us show up, that's great. But we'll keep the 4 of us plus Molly as our
Molly had
membership.
said she couldn't make it.
She's traveling, so I knew that she wasn't going to be here. But again, we can get that alternate select person. I don't think they've even. Well, obviously they haven't because they haven't met, so I don't even know who it would be. Probably be Dan. I would think. Chartrand, but so that's. If you guys still want to be involved, I'd love to have you stay. And we haven't been a 7-person committee in quite a while, so we'll just muddle through that route. And if it looks like we're going to get 5 someday, I'll let somebody can take the night off. These things, they don't go that.
It's every couple of months, an hour,
Every
an hour and a
3
half, every couple of months.
I'm a little bit because there's nobody upstairs, and if you recall the email exchange, they said we couldn't do it up there because of the energy committee, I think, and it's the same thing in June, and so I'm going to get to the bottom of that.
So next one is in June.
Yeah, and they wanted me to define it because they want to get their annual calendar on the website. They had put us down for the first Wednesday, which I think is the 6th, maybe.
Well, as of right now, that's open.
Right, but I'm not going to be here on the 6th.
Oh, I'm not going to be here on the 12th.
You aren't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the 19th. Actually, it might be, I don't know. It's an event that it runs for 2 weeks and
The fifth,
go
I
for the
guess.
whole week.
Yeah, I will not be
12th
back
and
until
19th.
the 8th of June.
I'm very iffy for the 12th and the 19th.
Well, why don't we, so that it doesn't linger. Well, I'll see what we have for abatements. If we have more, 4 abatements or more, I don't want to have people wait another 3 months.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can get at least, again, all we need is 3 of us and we can go through.
I may be able to come, I may not be. It kind of depends on.
But we'll say the next tentatively scheduled meeting would be June 12th. Post that accordingly and let people know.
I'll put it in with a question mark.
Well, There you go. So just to finish up, getting Steve on board is great. He's got the exact. I mean, we've had some really good public works. Jen was awesome for years, but he's a real boots on the ground kind of guy. I think that will help us out quite a bit. And so as far as the voting results, everything passed, including Molly, in her uncontested bid for select board, which is great. So we'll still have our rep. And again, we'll have a select board alternate next time. The key things are the groundwater was already in place. It was just a matter of coming to this agreement with the landowner. But now that that's happened, what we're hoping is that this summer we'll be doing pump tests for the pump, the potential well down off of Drinkwater Road, and that would, if all goes well, that would do directional drill under the river at that point, or it's mostly wetlands out there anyway, but we'll directionally drill and tie into the Larry Lane groundwater plant directly. It's sort of right across the way there. And so that would potentially bump up our supply by about 2/3, I think, depending on what the pump test indicates. But preliminary indications are that it would bump up our supply on the groundwater side by about 2/3, which would be a big help. And then the other part of it was, I think I mentioned this in our December meeting, is that the town or Public Works or the town manager, some combination thereof, wanted to put in a $2.5 million design bond for a new surface water plant. My budget subcommittee felt that was very premature because we didn't really even have a site yet. We didn't have a scope. As far as how big it would be, what portion of the town are we actually going to design it for? Is it what the current service area is? Are we going to go a little bit more in case things go out? The bottom line is we're a little bit, I think it was premature. So we dialed it back to a $500,000 sort of preliminary assessment to be done over the next 2 years. And we basically get preliminary designs in place and just scope of facility and all of that. So,
I mean, did they even know a site for? Are they planning on building a reservoir or just putting in another plant?
Again, that's all up in the air. In 2005, when this was presented initially, a new surface water plant, it was up near where the gun club is.
Yeah.
But that
near where the current one is, right?
Yes, that's right, next to the reservoir and in the current one. There are some lead contamination issues with and also occupying issues with the gun club leases and things like that. So that has to be worked out. There was also some property out off of Holland Way that sort of through some easements and everything could tie into the reservoir from the backside. Again, the bottom line is it's a little premature to be doing design because we don't even know where it's going to be.
Right.
So that will be proceeding ahead over the next couple of years.
Was there any discussion on the wording on the ballot? Because I missed the December meeting and I was reading the draft ballot. I was like, wow, that's great. They're moving ahead. And it said design of the plant.
That just didn't get scrubbed.
I mean,
it was 2.5, and then
bring it up because if
the BRC voted, and the selectmen agreed with us, and it probably just didn't get scrubbed.
I only bring it up because next time, if we go next year for design of a plant for another $2 million, we may get some questions.
The good news is I'm paying attention, so I've got a whole rack of notes.
People are going to be wondering.
We've been intimately involved in the budget committee on spending money on public works projects and what the prioritization is and all of that. So, the last item, the septic receiving facility, really good. A couple of good pieces of news there. That's proceeding ahead. We did receive some bids, and they were a lot lower than what the original estimate was. So it was originally, we were looking at about $600,000, and it's actually going to be a lot less than that. For equipment and everything like that. And if you recall, well, at our last meeting, there in the rate study report, our current septic disposal rate is 8 cents a 8 cents a gallon, and the rate study recommended doing between 8 and 12 because that's sort of the going rate around here. The budget committee recommended, as well as this committee, that we top that out at 12. Because we'll be the only state of the art. Though there are other facilities that take it, but
Right.
when we open, we're going to be the best facility in the area, and so people are going to, there's going to be demand. And then the new facility is going to have card access. It's going to be a lot more secure as far as what people are dumping and all of that. So it should work out really, really well. And again, the select board did approve or accept our recommendation of the 12 cents a gallon, so that will be proceeding ahead. So that's all good news. We don't have to pay, and that money to expend on that was taken out of reserves, and we were just going to pay it back as we made revenue. So the good news is the revenue will be high, and the time.
Make sure I understand. We're generally talking about clean outs from septic tanks and that kind of
Exactly.
thing.
That's what septic is, yes. It's the pump outs of septic tanks, not only in like Northwest and West Exeter, but surrounding towns. It's basically vendor related, not
Right.
town related, which is fine. I mean, as long as they pay,
Right.
we don't care where it comes from.
Right.
There is a maximum amount on a daily basis that we can take. So, that would be a limitation, but by all indications, we'll be maxed out pretty much every day. So the revenue stream should be pretty good.
What is that maximum looking at revenue?
I want to say it's 27,000 gallons a day. That doesn't seem like much.
At 8 cents a gallon?
12 cents.
Well, right.
I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but it's a pretty decent size. The revenue stream is about $350,000 a year.
Okay.
So we should
That
be
would
able,
that
with
would
bids and
match-
everything,
that
we
would
should be
match
able to
what
pay
you
back what we took out of reserves in about a year to year and a half. So that I thought that was pretty good.
And operating costs are pretty minimal, right?
Very low. Yeah, it's yeah.
I'm guessing that was design septic rate for the plant, 47 or whatever. That's good. Have you talked about exceeding that? I mean, given that the plant isn't fully loaded with municipal waste,
Right.
we have many clients that just max that out and go triple design and make a whole bunch of money off it.
Yeah, I think
And then they can still easily meet.
we've had some pretty good people on that. I will mention that.
It's a huge revenue source for a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. And I'll once we get it in place, I'll mention that to the folk, Steve Dalton,
I'm sure they're thinking of it.
Steve Cronin. Well, yeah,
Any way to make money?
yeah, it is. It's almost free money. So, you had a chance to look at the financial reports. Everything I think looks pretty good. We did recommend raising the rates January 1st. So the first district has already been billed. Actually, the first two. So we'll probably see some abatements over the next few quarters as people start accepting that. But I think we're in pretty good shape, especially on the sewer side. We actually kept the rates flat, so we did not raise them on the sewer rate. Water went up a bit just because of some of the facilities that we've had to put in over the last 2-3 years. The rate study recommended a 20% increase, and I think we had talked about in December, sort of dialing that back a little bit to 15%, just because usage is a little bit capricious, and let's see how it goes, type of thing.
Noticed on all the budget things that the sewer plant was the only one that had a lower budget this. I presume that's because of paying off the interest.
Right, yeah, we lose about $125,000 of interest every year, which is nice.
Yeah, it looks really good
It
though.
looks good on the balance sheet.
But
But the good news is a lot of our facilities on the sewer end are relatively new, so we haven't had to do a lot of capital outlay. Whereas in the water side,
Yeah,
where
it's
we have a
all-
lot of
yeah.
older facilities, and in fact, even associated with Larry Lane, the pump house and the wash pond and all of that were original. So we've had to spend money over and above the $5.5 million we spent in 2015. We've had to sort of keep chipping away at the improvements, especially, and even the surface water plant as well. So a little bit more on the operations expenditures. So that's what we got. Yeah, thank you guys for coming out. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Adjourn to, at this point, June 12th, 2024.
Thank you for tuning in
Thank you.
to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV.